Hello everyone, hope you're all doing good. Am I audible to all of you friends? Welcome to the session 2 of the free mentoring program that we are planning here. Please confirm that I am audible to all of you friends. Excellent. Good evening Ambadi, good evening Divya. Hope you're all doing good. Very happy to see you all here now. Okay. Yes. Good evening Navneet. Good evening everyone. Shall we begin our session now? Just give me one moment. All right. I just changed a little bit of settings in my laptop. I think now it's much more clear as to what is the whiteboard and what is not. Good evening, Mugda. Good evening, Renisa. Good evening, Navneet. Excellent. So, friends, today's session agenda, let me share it with you. As I've already given the YouTube header, we are going to revise portfolio management in 1 hour. So, the agenda is part 1, a part of your mentoring program. Part 2, we will be revising portfolio management. All right. So let me quickly show you where we stand in our mentoring program, after which we will go and revise portfolio management together. So friends, the mentoring program started around 10 days back, wherein I have given you a study plan. Many of you have enrolled for the assignment program also, where I have given you a study plan. You do your assignments. I can tell you one thing with full surety, friends. If you perform well in these assignments in the upcoming September exam, you will score excellent marks because these assignments are scheduled in that way, friends. So I'll just take the AFM free mentoring program that we have started here. All right. So we have around 193 students enrolled over here. Let me just go to the content part. Okay, wait, I have to upload. No, I think we should go to the assignment part. The assignments are given in the assignment part. Give me a minute. We have already created 2 assignments over here. First one was security valuation. That was due on 23rd July. Second one was portfolio management that got over on 30th July. That's the reason we are revising this today. Friends, after portfolio management and mutual funds, the upcoming week up to 7th July, you need to complete mergers and acquisitions and business valuation. I'll just write down over here. Mergers and business valuation. This has to get over by 7th of this month, that is upcoming Thursday. So you have very less time left, friends. It's fine if you do it until this weekend also. I'm putting the deadline as Thursday because that is how I had initially created this. All right. Perfect. Now let us just check portfolio management assignment that was given to all of you. Out of 200 people, 32 have submitted the assignment. Hats off to all of you people. Hats off Shruti, hats off Aarti, Abhiram, Adarsh, Aditya. Great job. There are more. One moment. Let me approve them. Now I can check the submitted students list. Ambadi, Anju, Anjali, Arpita, and many more. I'm not able to go down. Let me just check. I think some technical issue over here, friends. It's already approved. So maybe it's taking some time for all these things to come over here. Yes. Anjali is there, Bijilta is there, Deepti is there, Harsh is there, Jason, Jyoti, Kavya, Maria, Meera, Hashir, Nazira, Navneet, Rasha, Ritvika. Hats off to all of you, friends. You all have submitted your assignment day by day. Correctly go on completing your assignment, friends. So for this week, your assignment is which one? It is mergers and acquisitions and business valuation. Not only that, friends, you will be getting a personalized message from my team phone in which we'll ask all of you who haven't done the assignment as to why you haven't done the assignment. Please do respond to that message with the reason, and please keep up your promise of completing the assignment. Only then, by the time you reach the examination point, you will be all ready to crack the examination. Everybody clear with this part now? Fantastic. Now that we are clear with this, let us go and let us do a revision. Friends, I will now share with you another batch code, which I'm not sure if I've shared it earlier. It's called as AFM Success. Here, I have given the summary of the entire formula in one place so that you can revise the entire topic very, very easily. So the batch code is AFM Success. If you have already installed the app, you can just click on AFM Success and you will get this particular access. Inside this, when you go to the content part, we have a concept revision of portfolio management. So shall we now do a revision of the entire portfolio management together, friends? Please give me a yes in the chat box. I hope my audio is absolutely comfortable to all of you, friends. If you're facing any difficulties, let me know. Okay, are you all ready now? All right. So we start with the first concept of portfolio, that is the actual return of a portfolio. So friends, how do we work out the actual return? Now let us say you have a P1 of 130 rupees. You started by investing 100 rupees. So in that case, you are getting a return of how much rupees over here? 30 rupees. Apart from this, you are also getting a dividend of another 20 rupees. So now if you see, you have 130 minus 100 divided by 100, that is, one part, plus you're also getting 20 rupees. This 130 minus 100 is what you call it as an unrealized gain, and this 20 is what you call it as realized gain. Or in other words, 30 unrealized, 20 realized divided by 100. Do you get the answer as 50%? Or in other words, the formula for actual return is P1 minus P0 plus PD1 divided by P0. This can also be written in one more manner, friends. I can write it down like this: P1 minus P0 divided by P0 plus D1 divided by P0, or D1 by P0 is nothing but it is the dividend yield. Everybody clear with this part? So that is concept number one, which is actual return of the portfolio. Now let us go to the second concept, friends. Covariance. What is the full form of covariance? Covariance is nothing but it is the combined variance. All right. So here what we do is, suppose I want to find out the variance of X. The table format will be X, P, X minus X bar, P into X minus X bar the whole square. Same way the other one would be Y, P, Y minus Y bar, P into Y minus Y bar the whole square. Now if I want to find out the or the combined variance of X and Y, the table format will be X, Y, P, X minus X bar, Y minus Y bar, P into X minus X bar minus what? Y minus Y bar. Everybody clear? So when I do like this, I get the combined variance of both X and Y. Friends, there is also an alternative solution that can be used to find out the covariance XY. That is, beta of X we take into beta of Y into the variance of the market. So I take the risk of X, I multiply that with the risk of Y, Then I multiply it with the variance of the market. So I get the combined variance of both these together. That's because market into beta will give you the risk of beta. Market into y will give you the risk of y. Market into x into y will give you the overall risk of x and y together. Everybody clear with this part now? Perfect. So I believe we are clear with the covariance part also. Yeah. Next. After you learn this, the next concept that we have to learn is called as correlation coefficient. Friends, this correlation coefficient is found out using the formula covariance of xy divided by standard deviation of x, standard deviation of y. So when you put it this way, you get the answer ranging between -1 and +1. So when you get it this way, -1 is what we call it as the minimum risk, and +1 is what we call it as maximum risk. So we have to find out an answer that will range between -1 and +1. -1 means both are moving in the opposite direction, whereas +1 means both are moving in the same direction. So that way we can find out the correlationship between the security, and the formula for correlation is what? It is covariance of xy divided by standard deviation of x into standard deviation of y. Fantastic. Shall I go to the next part now? Perfect. So once you're done with correlation, next is the principle of dominance. So here we have to learn that if two securities are having same return, we should select the security having what? Select the security having a lower risk. If two securities are having same risk, we should select the security having what? Security having a higher return. Everybody clear with this part now? So that's called as the principle of dominance. So suppose you have two securities A and B. A is going to be 8 and 4. B is going to be 6 and 4. Which one will you select now? A. Why? Because the risk is same, but A is having a higher return. Is everybody clear with this part? Please type a yes in the chat box. Fantastic, friends. Can I now go to the next part? After you learn about the principle of dominance, you learn about beta. Beta means for every 1% change in the market, how much is the change happening in the security? So if for every 1% change in the market, if the security changes by 2, I would say the security is double risky compared to the market. Everybody clear with this part now? Yes. Beta can be found out using three formulas. Formula number 1, sigma xm minus n into x bar m bar divided by sigma m square minus n into m bar the whole square, or covariance of xm divided by variance of m, standard deviation of x divided by standard deviation of m into what? Correlation of xm. Apart from this, we also can find out if in the exam they are giving you only two outcomes. If they give you only two outcomes, the formula will be change in x divided by change in the market. These are the four different ways in which you can find out what is the beta for the security. It basically helps you to get you the volatility of the security frame. I hope everybody is clear with this part now. Fantastic. After we learn about beta, we learn about CAPM return. The formula for CAPM return is RF plus beta into RM minus RF. So here, what is RF? RF is risk-free. So let us say the risk-free is 5. The beta of the security is 3. Market return is 12. RF is again 5. So when you work out this way, you'll get the answer as 73, 21, 26%. Friends, the logic of this 26% is as follows. RM is how much? 12. Out of this 12, 5% anybody can get. You don't have to even go to the stock market to get this 5%. You go to the stock market to get the extra 7%, right? That extra 7% is what we call it as the risk premium. Now, if my security has a beta of 3, it means my security is triple risky compared to the market. Okay, if my security is triple risky compared to the market, I get a risk premium of how much over here, friends? I get a risk premium of 21%. So here I get 21, here I get 5. Together I get how much, friends? I get 26%. This should be the return that I should get. So this is what we call it as required return. Okay. Now friends, take a 10-second school of time. Go through all this. If you have any doubts, you can message me. Fantastic, friends. I hope everybody is clear so far now. Shall I go to the next part now? Perfect. So after you learned about CAPM return, next we will talk about the different types of return. So when I say different types of return, inside this we have expected return, then we have required return, and finally we have the actual return. So the expected return, the formula is nothing but summation of outcome into probability. All right. Required return is normally what? CAPM. What's the formula for CAPM? RF plus beta into RM minus RF. Now friends, if they don't provide the RF, in that case, we can just find out this using what? Beta into RM. That is also one of the required returns. Actual return is what? P1 minus P0 plus D1 divided by P0. Friends, unfortunately, in your study material, they have made a mess of all this. They have taken expected and they put CAPM sometimes. Sometimes they ask actual and they do CAPM. They mix up in all the ways. But in reality, and from the exam point of view also, you have to keep this thing in mind. Expected is outcome into probability. Required is CAPM or actual is this formula. Everybody clear with this part? So if you get confused, like sometimes what they'll do is they'll give you expected, but they are asking required. You can always give a note that it is assumed that expected and required return are the same. Are you all clear with this part also now, friends? Shall I go to the next part? After this, you learn about alpha. The formula for alpha is expected return minus required return. Expected return minus required return. So if your expected return is 15%, but required is only 12%, what will be your alpha now? Your alpha will be plus 3%. Am I right? So alpha is positive or negative? Positive. If it is positive, means your stock is undervalued, hence you are supposed to buy. If this was negative, means it's overvalued and you should sell. The logic is I expect 15%, but overall it should get only 12. So I am expecting 3% more. If this becomes a reality, price will go up and people will buy. This is the logic of the word alpha. I hope everybody is clear with this part now. Excellent, friends. Very, very happy that you're clear so far. Can I go to the next one now? Yes. Perfect. I'll go to the next part now. So once you're done with alpha, then we will learn there are two types of risk. One is called as the diversifiable risk, and the other one is called as what? Non-diversifiable risk. These are the two types of risk. All right. Diversifiable risk are those risks that can be reduced by way of diversification. So, for example, tomorrow you're doing CA. Along with CA, if you go and do CS, your risk comes down. Why? Because if something goes wrong in CA, at least you have CS to support you. Non-diversifiable risk are those risks which will never come down. You do CA, CS, CMA. If an earthquake comes, can you do anything? No. Some examples of non-diversifiable risk are market risk. Market being fully diversified, any fluctuation is an overall non-diversifiable risk. Inflation. If inflation goes up, everything gets affected. Income tax, another one. GDP, etc., etc. So friends, now over here, the non-diversity, the risk is found out using the standard deviation of the security. NDR is found out using the formula beta of X into standard deviation of the market. Whereas this turns out to be the balancing figure. But we have to keep one thing in mind. You just cannot simply subtract it. You will just take variance of X minus NDR square of X. Then whatever answer you get, you will take a whole square root. Are you all clear with this part now? Yes, Ambadi, what you said is absolutely right. Even Forex is one of the non-diversifiable risks. I hope everybody is clear with this part now. Fantastic, friends. I'm so happy that you're all clear with this part. I hope my audio and video is also absolutely clear and comfortable to all of you. Great, friends. Very, very happy with that. Now, shall I go to the next part? Excellent, Ambadi. What you said is absolutely right. You cannot add or subtract standard deviation. Great. Shall I go to the next part now? So after we learn about diversifiable, non-diversifiable risks, next we'll learn about something called as a combined beta or overall beta. Friends, any security has beta overall. That is nothing but beta equity into weight of equity. So here, plus beta of debt into weight of debt. All right. This is again nothing but equal to the asset beta. So beta of asset A into weight of asset A plus beta of asset B into weight of asset B. Now to streamline this formula further, I can do it like this. Beta equity into E divided by E plus D plus beta of debt into D divided by E plus D. Now what I'll do is debt, whenever you have, on that debt you have interest. So on that interest, do you have a 1 minus tax? That adjustment I'll bring it over here. So the formula here will now be beta equity into E divided by E plus D into 1 minus tax rate plus beta of debt into D into 1 minus tax divided by E plus D into 1 minus tax. Hi Shank, if you have sent me a doubt, I'll definitely clarify the doubt for you. Not to worry. I might do it over WhatsApp itself because right now today's topic is to revise portfolio within 1 hour. All right. I'll do it over WhatsApp. Nothing to worry. Okay. Right. So this is how you find out the overall beta for a security. Everybody clear? Friends, don't think this is only from exam point of view. I am a registered valuer and I use this on a daily basis in my practical valuation reports. These are all practical numbers that you all can use practically. Everybody clear with this part? Yes. After you learn about beta overall, we will learn about proxy beta. So what happens is unlisted company don't have beta. So that time what we will do, we will take a corresponding proxy company in the stock market. Everybody clear with this part? Okay. So there we go by 4 steps. Step number 1 will be beta equity of the other company. Let's say for example, I want to find out the beta of, let us say TJ Classes. Let's assume TJ Classes is a private company, but it is not listed in the stock market. So in order to get the beta of TJ Classes, first I'll find out the beta equity of Veranda Learning, which is already listed. After I take the beta equity of Veranda Learning, from that I will take the beta overall of what? Of Veranda Learning. Once I get the beta overall of veranda learning, beta overall of veranda learning is equal to beta overall of TJ classes. From this, I can do a fourth working where I can go and find out the beta equity of TJ classes. These are the four steps using which I can calculate the beta equity of what? TJ classes. And here the beta overall formula will be this one, beta equity into E divided by E plus D into 1 minus tax plus beta of debt. Normally, beta of debt turns out to be 0. So the right part will actually become 0 only over here. Friends, take a 5 to 10 seconds of cool off time. Go through this. If you have any doubts, please ask me. I believe you're all done with this. Yes. After we learn about proxy beta, the next thing we have to learn is called as arbitrage pricing theory model. My dear friends, this formula came into existence because CAPM got the Nobel Prize. When one formula gets a Nobel Prize, other people get jealous. They come up with new formula hoping that they will also get Nobel Prize. Shall we check it together now? So he made a formula which says RF plus beta XM. What do you mean by beta XM? For every 1% change in the market, what is the change happening in the security? Into RM minus RF plus beta XI. He will add another non-diversifiable factor. For every 1% change in inflation, what is the change in the security? Into RI minus RF plus beta X GDP into R GDP minus RF and so on. This fellow thought he will get a Nobel Prize. Tell me, my dear friends, did he get a Nobel Prize? No, never. But this formula also came in your syllabus. Now, after this, one other fellow came. He told the formula should be RF plus beta XM into actual value minus expected value plus beta xi into actual value minus expected value and so on. After he thought, putting this, he thought he will also get a Nobel Prize. Tell me, my dear friends, did he get a Nobel Prize? No, never. And even this formula came in your syllabus, friends. So these two formulas you have to learn and write down. So this is also called as market risk premium. This is called as inflation risk premium. This is called as what now, my dear friends? Tell me. It is called as GDP risk premium. Are you all clear with this part now, friends? So with this, we learned arbitrage pricing theory model. Then we learned about covariance also. Now we have to learn about the two-factor model. Here what happens is you will have two factors. So for example, first one will be beta xm. Second one will be, let us say, beta xi. So if suppose beta xm is 2, beta xi is 3. You have 60%, 40%. 2 into 60% will be 1.2. 3 into 40% also will be 1.2. When you take it up together, you get 2.4. This is called as beta overall to the two factors. 1 minute. I think I have not put it correctly. Sorry, this is wrong. Ignore this. Okay, I'll take a fresh page and show you. Particulars. Let's say there are two stocks, X and Y. You have invested 60,000, 40,000. Overall, you get the answer as 1. Everybody clear till here now? All right. Now, after this, the weights, when you take the weights, will be 60%, 40%. Everybody clear with this part? Then they took the beta XM. So the beta XM over here, let us say 2 and 3. Beta XI is, let us say, 3 and 4. So now what happens is beta XM into weight, you get 1.2. Other one also you get 1.2. You get the overall as 2.4. Beta XI into weight will be 1.8. 1.6, you get 3.4. This is what you call it as beta overall to the factor 1. Okay, and this is what you call it as beta overall to the factor 2. Is everybody clear with this part now, friends? So this is how we create a 2-factor model. Now here you will have a small deviation when you have something called as short selling. Friends, short selling basically means you sell first and then you buy later. So when you sell first, you will have an inflow coming into your hands. Yes. So in that case, what will happen is, let us say I am short selling Y. That will become inflow. So then my own money will remain the same. I will be able to get how much money as over here in X? I will get 1,40,000. Okay. So like that, this thing works out. Is everybody clear with this part now, friends? Perfect. So like this, we learn about the 2-factor model also. Now we have 2 more concepts left. One is how to find minimum risk portfolio. How to find minimum risk portfolio. So friends, when you are trying to do a minimum risk portfolio, the shortcut formula that we need to learn over here is called as A square minus AB divided by A square plus B square minus 2AB. Or in other words, weight of X is equal to variance of Y minus covariance of XY divided by variance of X plus variance of Y minus 2 covariance XY. Same way, if you want to find out the weight of Y, the equation will be variance of X minus covariance of XY divided by variance of X plus variance of Y minus 2 covariance XY. So this is inspired by this formula, friends. So you just keep this formula in your mind. Wherever you have A, you put Y square. AB will be covariance XY. So the shortcut formula is what, friends? A square minus AB whole divided by A square plus B square minus what? Minus 2AB. Is everybody clear with this part now? Fantastic. So once you're clear with this, shall I go to the next part now? Okay. Let me go to the next part. After you do minimum risk portfolio, I'll go to the final concept heading. Sharpe index model. As per Sharpe index model, your total risk consists of 2 parts. One, it consists of non-diversifiable variance, or it consists of diversifiable variance. NDV is taken on an overall basis, whereas DV is taken on an individual basis. So here they take the formula standard deviation of market into beta overall. After they do this, they'll take a whole square. Whereas when you go on an individual basis, the formula would be diversifiable risk of A into weight of A the whole square, diversifiable risk of B into weight of B the whole square, diversifiable risk of C into weight of C the whole square. Then you take the whole total. Here you will get the total diversifiable variance. Here you will get the total what? Non-diversifiable variance. Then you take this up together, you get the entire total variance. Friends, with this we have covered almost all the revision part. One more part is pending. We can also find out the combined risk using Markowitz method. So under Markowitz method, the formula will be standard deviation of A, weight of A, the whole square, plus standard deviation of B, weight of B, the whole square, plus 2 into standard deviation A, standard deviation B, weight of A, weight of B, correlation of AB, the whole square root. That is nothing but A plus B, the whole square. A square plus B square plus 2AB. Now, friends, if you have three securities, it will be what? A plus B plus C, the whole square. That is A square plus B square plus C square plus 2AB plus 2PZ plus 2AC. The whole square root. Everybody clear? So look at this. This is all what we learned. We learned covariance, combined variance, correlation is covariance xy divided by standard deviation x, standard deviation y. The principle of dominance, if you have two securities having the same rate, sell the security having lower risk, same risk, higher return. Beta formula 1, formula 2, formula 3. Then we learnt about formula 4, change in x divided by change in m, CAPM, RF plus beta into RM minus RF, security market line, that is the graphical representation of CAPM. What is the formula for CAPM, friends? RF plus beta into RM minus RF, where you keep the beta as variable. Ambadi, yes, Sharpe index model is another model. Sharpe ratio is another ratio. Don't compare those two. Sharpe ratio comes in mutual fund. Sharpe index model comes in portfolio. The only main thing is both are created by one fellow. That fellow's name is William S. Sharpe. Are you clear, Ambadi? Yes. Alpha, expected return minus required return. Alpha positive means buy. Alpha negative means sell. Characteristic line. That is the same as alpha. Only one thing is kept variable. What is that? RM. Total risk consists of DR and NDR. But you cannot add risk. So you add variance. And then you take a whole square root. NDR is beta of X into standard deviation of the market. DR is the balancing figure, but you take the variance. Proxy beta has all the four steps. Overall beta has all these things. Arbitrage pricing theory model that we learned now. Arbitrage pricing theory model formula 2 that we learned. New formula for covariance, beta X, beta Y, variance of the market. Minimum risk portfolio that we learned right now. Combined risk in Markowitz using 2, using 3. Friends, matrix method they are not asking nowadays, so you can ignore that part if you want. Just keep this combination in your mind. XX means variance of X. XY means covariance XY. YX means covariance XY. YY means covariance, variance of Y. Fantastic, friends. So I am done with today's revision on portfolio management. I hope this session was useful to all of you, friends. If genuinely yes, I have just one request to all of you. Please like this video, please subscribe to my channel, and if possible, share it with all the other CA students for whom also this video will be very, very useful. Friends, it will be most useful for those who have attended my class because you would have learned all these things in a span of 20 to 30 hours in my class. After that, when you do this quick revision of 1 hour, it will be easier, but definitely it will be useful for all the others also. So just as a part of gratitude, please do the same so that we can reach maximum students and we can study together and we can win together. Now, friends, we'll spend another 5 to 10 seconds, 10 minutes. If you have any doubts in portfolio, please ask me. I'll do a separate session on mutual funds after this. I thought not of clubbing these two together. We'll do it separately. Okay. Now tell me, friends, do you have any doubts over here? Thank you so much, Ambadi. Thanks a lot. Yes, friends. Friends, I'll take a lot of efforts so that you all clear your exam. Only thing that I expect from you is your support to study along with me so that we can win and get excellent results. I'll work hard with you. You also work with me. We will win together. That is my promise. So I think there are not much doubts that are coming in right now. Great. So shall we wrap up our session with this now, friends? Excellent. Let's pack up our session, friends. Thank you so much. I had a lovely time taking this session for all of you. Study well. Let's study together. Let's win together. Thank you so much, friends. Have a nice time ahead. Thanks a lot.